The best yo-yo to live.
Alright, are we live? Yeah, I just posted this cover of September by Earth, Wind & Fire, guys. So you guys should go watch it on YouTube. We're live, right? Wait, people can see this? Let me check.
Do you remember the 21st
Welcome, y'all, welcome.
Love is changing the minds of pretenders.
Hey, what's up, Yo-Yo Throw, Trey Garza. What's up, y'all?
Our hearts are ringing in the key that our souls are singing.
We did it.
As we dance in the night.
We did it. We finished the song.
How the stars stole the night away. Ha, ha, ha. Body, say that you remember. Body, dancing in September. Body, never was a cloudy day.
Yeah. Hey, Justin Dower's here. What's good? You love this song? I love this song too. That's why I did a cover of it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys about some principles of how to be successful. Hey, Jakari's here. What's good, Jakari? What's up, everybody? Number one, hustle. Yeah, that's true. Hustling's important, for sure. Hustling is definitely important. But yeah, there's other things that are important as well. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. This guy, Amar, bro, stop spamming, bro. Bro, Amar, if you keep spamming, you're gonna get timed out, bro. What's good, JK Yo-Yo King? Yeah, we did this yesterday, guys. This is me keeping integrity with my word of posting this song. We did it, guys. Alright, hold on. Let me move this. Move the chat. Alright, there you guys go. You guys can chill there on that side. Alright, we did it, guys. Alright, so that's it. So, welcome to the stream today. So today I'm going to talk about some principles that I've learned in my life. Some of them, for a lot of you, maybe these might be like kind of obvious, but I think that for some people that haven't learned these things, I think that they'll actually be very valuable for you. So, I don't know. I realized, I was thinking about this, I've created some decent success in my life. I've become the world yo-yo champion. I've, got to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I have a pretty successful business now with my yo-yo company, my yo-yo brand. So, and there's other goals that I'm working towards, like with music and stuff. That's my next step. But it's not just that. I think there's success in other areas as well that I've created. Like, for example, like my relationship with my family, with my mom, my dad, my brother. It's very like there's a lot of like high quality relationships in my life with my friends and everything like that. And so, like there's just like a lot of good things that I've been able to create. And I thought about this, that I'm really lucky. And hold on, let me change to this camera. I realized that I'm really lucky. Hold on, let me just go full screen. So I realized that I'm really lucky, and part of that luck, of course, is being born into a family, in America, in Hawaii, and a pretty wealthy family. Actually, my parents weren't really wealthy when I was born. They actually became wealthy like slightly after I was born. Um, but the main thing is I was really lucky in my life to have been born to a really good family and all these things. But I realized though the thing that is even more important that I got lucky with was having people and mentors to teach me like these principles in my life to live a better life, to just be a better human being. And when you have these principles, they affect everything else you do. So no matter what situation you're in or what goals you have, these principles can always be effective in helping you better yourself in your life. So I was thinking about that and I felt kind of sad because a lot of these principles are things that people don't get to learn about all the time. It's like there's just people don't have access to this kind of information, some people, right? So I want to just share some of these things that I've learned throughout my life, and hopefully they will be helpful to some people that may watch this. Maybe for a few of you, it won't be helpful at all, but maybe there'll be a certain select few like that it'll be very impactful for, and those are the people that I'm trying to reach. So, yeah, basically, this is what we're going to do today, guys. So, let's talk about these principles, and I'm just going to get right into it. So, the first principle is responsibility. But you know what? Actually, here I'll put this here. Responsibility. All right. And so, responsibility is a mindset. All right. What responsibility? Oh wait, you guys can't even see this. I just realized. All right, there. Now you guys can see this, right? You guys can see, right? Good. All right. So look, this is the key. This is like a very important principle in your life is responsibility. And what does responsibility mean? Well, it can mean like, it can be like, what are you responsible for in your life? Do you have chores? Does your parents make you do chores? If you're older, do you have a job? Do you have to do your job? Right? These are all things you're responsible for. Do you have like, if you have a pet, you're responsible for that pet, means you have to take care. But actually, responsibility is actually a deeper thing. And that's why I wrote this right here. Victimhood versus responsible. So it's actually a mentality. And what responsibility really comes down to is this. It's I am the creator of my future. That's what responsibility is. Responsibility means taking responsibility, taking accepting that you are the one that is going to get you to the place that you want to be. That's what responsibility means. All right. So responsibility is really a mindset. And this is important to realize, guys, because this will make or break you in your life. This will allow you to be successful or not. This will allow you to grow or to, just make up excuses and just be lazy, right? So there's two different mentalities, right? That's why I wrote this, victim versus responsible. So you guys probably all know people with a victim mentality. And, hey, you might even be one. If you're somebody with a victim mentality and you acknowledge that, that's a very big step, right? But the thing is, it's not black or white. We're all victims in our lives at some points or in some areas, but we're responsible in other areas, right? But the key thing to realize is that you want to try to get to the place where you take responsibility for all areas of your life. So let's say, let me give you an example. Like, for me, like, I was always like very responsible when it came to like my career path and like what I want to do with my life. And like, just I was very responsible when it came to like staying really like discipline with my spiritual routine, my spiritual regimen where I meditate every day, right? But in the area of, for example, like fitness or health, I wouldn't take responsibility for that as much. And so I was a victim because I would say like, "Oh man, like, every time that I work out, I just feel really tired because my body like doesn't recover very fast and all this stuff." So that's a victim mentality, and that was the mentality that I had. So a responsible mentality comes from a different place. A responsible mentality comes from a place of I am responsible for the future that I want, right? So like in that case with the health thing that I was talking about, I was like, all right, so I have this issue where my body doesn't recover very fast. So how do I solve that? And then I had to figure out, all right, so I gotta like drink more protein, and then and I had to do all these things, eat certain foods, eat differently. But I think the main point was I realized that actually the excuse that I was making wasn't even real. The truth was that I was just being a victim so I could be lazy. So now I'm starting to like kind of break through my victim mentality in the health area of my life, and I'm starting to get into the responsible place. So that's where we all can have, choose to have a victim versus responsible mindset. But the key is you got to be aware of when you're being a victim, right? So I want to say this. This is the most crucial point, all right, with this whole thing right here with responsibility. If you have a victim mentality, you have zero chance of growing. All right, you have zero chance of growing. So like, let's say, you're like, I want to be wealthy, but then you're like, oh, but I wasn't born into like a wealthy family. I didn't get any inheritance, or I didn't have anybody to teach me. Like, and that's why I'm not going to be wealthy. There's no chance for me because I don't have the circumstances that are necessary. That's a victim mentality. And you might argue that there's truth to it, Like me, I'm fortunate I was born into a more wealthy family. I will argue though that I never really got anything. My dad always, wanted to teach me how to create for myself. So like, my dad never supported me financially or anything like that. He basically just didn't give me anything. He was like, I'm rich, you're poor. That's basically what he said. But regardless of all that, even if I was completely financially taken care of and all this stuff, and versus somebody else who's like, in the dumps, or, maybe like even like homeless or from a third world country or something, right? They have a good excuse, right? But the point that I want to make is that you will never ever be able to grow into your future success if you have a victim mentality, right? So a really good saying, I can't remember who it's by, but a good saying by this really wise man was, you can either have reasons or you can have results. In other words, you can have excuses of why you can't get something, or you can go out and try to achieve it. Now, I won't, I'll be honest, my personal view is that if you do have a responsible mindset, you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, pretty much. There are limitations. But I'll say you have a really good chance. But I'll say this, if you have a victim mentality, you think everything in your circumstances are causing you to be stuck where you are, then you'll never have the opportunity to be successful. You have no chance whatsoever, right? So the only real mentality that is beneficial or useful that I really encourage you to start looking at is this responsible mentality. And I want to say something about this as well. So if you look, let's see, how do we do this? If you look at your thoughts, sometimes you'll have negative thoughts. And I learned this from a book called No Excuses by Brian Tracy. But if you, let's say, are starting to have negative thoughts, right? Like you're thinking about like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, like get a good grade in this class or something because I just can't do like math well or whatever. Whatever you're thinking of. You have a negative thought, or you're just like, man, like something, or even if something bad happens to you, like maybe like your parents get divorced or something. It it's There's a principle where your mind can't hold two different competing thoughts. So if you have a negative thought and then you put a positive thought in there, you can't have both at the same time. So you should try this next time. If you're having a negative thought, anything at all, maybe you're feeling depressed or anxious or something, try telling yourself this in your head: I am responsible. And really feel that, like, I am responsible. Like, I am responsible for my life. I am responsible for how I respond to life. I'm responsible for my life. And you'll find that the negative thoughts can't stay in your mind at the same time as as the positive thought. So if you have a positive thought like I'm responsible, you can't have a negative thought at the same time. So this is a really cool quick fix to any like negative thoughts you might have. Just tell yourself I am responsible. That's the key. So the other thing that I'll say is about victim versus responsible is this is very similar to Stoicism. If any of you know what Stoicism is, let me know. Have you guys heard of that? So there's an idea of internal locus of control versus external locus of control. So what does this mean? All right. This is an interesting question, right? What is internal locus of control and external locus of control? So internal locus of control, this is when you believe that, you believe that you are the one that controls your reality. And external locus of control is when you believe that the outer world controls what's happening to you. All right. So they've done studies on this, and they've looked at people that have more of a higher levels of internal locus of control versus people who have higher levels of external locus of controls. Like they think that, things are happening to them. And they found that people are some astronomical amount more happy when they have an internal locus of control. So let me put this in an easier way, because this is kind of like big words and stuff. But the main point is with Stoicism, you want to focus on what you can control and ignore what you can't. Does that make sense? So let's say you're in a situation, like let's say you're in a tennis match, right? When you're in a tennis match, maybe the opponent has a really good serve and they have like an impossible forehand to beat. You can't beat their forehand. It's like if you hit it to their forehand, you just lose, right? So something important to think about is, all right, those are the things that are out of my control. I can't change that fact. So it's a waste of time to mope about the fact that he's got an insane serve or that he's got an insane forehand. You might go to your coach and you're like, this guy's impossible to beat. I just can't beat him. His serve's too good, whatever, right? But that's a waste of energy, because you're spending energy focusing on that, and that mental energy could be going into focusing on the things that you can control, right? So the things that you can control are how well you hit your shots. How focused are you when you're hitting your forehands and backhands? Where are you placing the ball, right? How are you controlling your breathing, right? Are you being efficient with your movements, right? Are you strategizing? What strategies can you use? Can you try to approach the net more? Maybe you might want to hit a shot at their backhand and approach the net, right? But the point is, it's what you focus on. It's what you focus on that's gonna allow you to have the highest chance of success. So the main thing about Stoicism That's the name of this philosophy, is you want to focus on what you can control and ignore completely all the things that you can't. All right? So let me give you another example, right? Maybe, I'm trying to learn how to yo-yo, and I have a really bad yo-yo, like it's like a really cheap one from the store, right? So it could, you could just think, man, I really want to get good at yo-yo. I really want to learn how to yo-yo, but my yo-yo sucks, right? Like that's something that you can't control that. That's just like the nature of the yo-yo that you have, right? So if you focus on that fact that the yo-yo sucks, then obviously it's going to be really hard to learn new tricks, but you can control other aspects, right? So one thing you could do is you could try to, maybe get a better yo-yo. That's one example of something you could control, but maybe you can't control that. All right, then what else can you do? All right, well, you can control maybe like what you learn on the yo-yo. You can control like maybe your yo-yo is really bad, but you can still do certain tricks really well. Then you can stay focused on using your yo-yo to do that. Or maybe you just, maybe you got to go ask your parents to get you a better yo-yo, maybe from evannagar.com. Shameless self-plug, I'm sorry. But the main point is you have control, or you got to just focus on the things that you can control. Even if you can't control your parents, you can't get them to do your bidding. Maybe some of you can, but not everybody can. Well, at least you can control you asking them, right? So that's where you're responsible for. And if that doesn't work, then maybe you can just decide to like get a different hobby or choose a different interest. That's all things that are in your control. Because when you try to focus on things that you can't control, that just leads to frustration, right? So like, for example, I have somebody in my life that I want them to be a part of my band, but they don't want to be part of my band. They're just not interested. And they've told me that many times before, and I've kept trying to like ask them to be part of my band. So if I just focus on that aspect and get frustrated by that and say, man, because this guy doesn't want to be part of my band, it's like screwing me over, so now I can't be successful in music, right? That's having an external locus of control. But the other way that I can look at it is, all right, what can I control? All right, well, I can control like me making music every day. I can focus on that because that's in my realm of control. I can do that by myself. I can go out and talk to other people that might be interested also in being in the band, right? So the main point that I'm trying to make with this is staying focused on what you can control and ignore what you can't. I mentioned earlier about, somebody who's rich versus poor. This is actually interesting because Stoicism itself, this came from a man named Marcus Aurelius. And Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, very wealthy emperor, a long time ago. I don't even know the history of it, but he was very, very, successful, and he made positive impacts in the empire that he ruled. So he preached this, and you guys can go read his book. It's called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. But the interesting thing is, there's actually a philosopher who's just as successful and just as prominent, if not more prominent, than Marcus Aurelius from the same time period, and his name is Epictetus. And it's very poetic because Epictetus was actually a slave. He came from, his background is that he was a slave for a family in the same empire, or I could be wrong, but I think he was from the same empire as Marcus Aurelius. And he used these same principles, Stoicism, focus on what you can control, ignore what you can't. And he became one of the most prolific philosophers of his time. He became extremely successful as a philosopher, right? So it really goes to show, like, this idea is like, it transcends, your background. If you're Epictetus was a slave. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor, and they both used these values to create good stuff in their lives, right? The main point is stop being a victim. All right. You know what? You know what else is victimhood? The biggest trap to watch out for when you start getting into this road is you start looking out for other people being victims. You know, you might see your mom and she's like, ah, we can't afford a yo-yo because, like the bills are not being paid or whatever. I don't know. Okay, I'm making a bad example. I'm just trying to sell you this, which that's kind of funny. But no, I'm not actually trying to sell yo's. You guys don't have to buy yo's if you don't want to. I'm just joking. But the main point is you start to see people being victims. You might see Jimmy in your class and he's like, man, there's no way that I can, win this chess match because the other person's way too good, or because I wasn't born with a good memory or something like that, right? But see, when you start like you might try to like point this out to other people. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time pointing this out to other people. Actually, you'll just get caught up in their victimhood. The key is to just stay focused on yourself, which is what responsibility is. And the interesting thing about the word responsible, wait, did I spell this wrong? Is it like this? No, it's not. Responsible, another good way to put this is responsible stands for response able, meaning able to respond. Able to respond, right? So that basically means you can't really control what happens in the outer world, but you can control how you respond to that thing, right? So let's say somebody comes and steals your lunch at school, or somebody bullies you at school, all right? Something happens where they bully you. You can't control what they do to you, but you can control how you respond, right? So one response is, oh my gosh, I'm such a loser, and like this sucks, life sucks, I don't have any friends. That's one response, right? The other response, there's so many responses, right? But another response is, man, like, wow, I can't believe these guys are so sad. Like it's embarrassing. It's sad that they're like that, It's sad that they don't have love in their life. I wish that they could have more love in their life. They could have better role models so that they wouldn't, have to be bullies. And probably they're getting bullied at home. Probably, maybe there's somebody that's abusing them or something. Like that's another response. Another response could be, man, these bullies, they don't know what's coming, man, because I'm gonna be working out and like I'm gonna be getting better and being like creating success in my life. And later in their lives, they're gonna be so embarrassed that they bullied me because I'm gonna be so successful and they're gonna be nothing to me. That is more of like a prideful response. I don't think that's necessarily the best response, but I'm just saying there's so many different ways you can respond, right? So being responsible means bringing focus back to yourself, having an internal locus of control, being aware that there's things that you can control and staying focused on those things and trying to use that ability to respond, using your ability to create and decide what to do to in a positive way. That's what responsibility means, all right? It's basically about being centered in yourself. All right? So that I think is one of the most important lessons that I learned in my life is about being responsible. What am I talking about because you're confused? It's okay, Watermelon. I'm just talking about some of the principles that have helped me to create success in my life. If you're confused, it's okay. Maybe this is like a little bit too, maybe you'll understand it later when you get older. But for now, I'm just gonna keep going, and some of the people, whoever finds this helpful, will find it helpful. Hopefully, it will be helpful. All right. Also, guys, I'm only doing this for a little while, and then after this stream, I'm gonna be going to Twitch, and I'm gonna be doing a music stream. So I'm doing this stream on YouTube just because I felt compelled to do it, and I feel like it might be beneficial to people. But just so you guys are aware, I'm gonna be going to Twitch after this to do a music stream. All right, so number 2. Let's talk about number 2. Integrity. All right. This is the next thing that's important. So, what I'll say about integrity is there's having integrity with others and then having integrity with yourself. And both are really important. But let me first explain the definition of integrity. Integrity is when your words and actions are in alignment. Boom. That's what integrity is. All right. So let me give you an example. All right. Let's say you schedule a meeting with your friend, a lunch, right? And that meeting, you schedule it for, let's say, I don't know, 12 o'clock, 12 p.m., right? Like you're going to get lunch with them at 12 p.m. Integrity means when you tell your friend, hey, Lucy, like, let's meet for lunch at 12 p.m., you are going to make sure that you show up at that lunch at 12 p.m. because you agreed with that person that you're going to meet at that time, right? So another example, maybe, you agree with your mom that you're going to take out the trash, right? So your mom's like, hey, take out the trash. And you're like, okay, I will in 10 minutes, right? Then, in 10 minutes, you better make sure you take out that trash. Otherwise, she's going to get mad. That's what integrity is, right? But it's a little deeper than that. Integrity also kind of has to do with honesty, because integrity just means your words and your actions are in alignment. What you say and what you do are in alignment. So that's why I say that there's integrity with others and integrity with self. And I'd actually argue that self-integrity is even more important than integrity with other people. So let me give you an example of self-integrity. Self-integrity is, I said I was going to post cover of September by Earth, Wind & Fire yesterday, and I did. But it took a lot of energy. Even on the stream, it took like 4 hours, 5 hours to get that amount done. But after the stream, I was still working on it. I ended up working on the video and the song for 12 hours, maybe 13, 14 hours. And that's just because I committed to doing it. And so I'm going to follow through. I said I was going to do it. And so I decided I was going to do it. So why is that important? Well, self-integrity, meaning doing what you say you're going to do. Doing what you say you're going to do. Let me move this. Uh-oh. Whoops. Hold on. Boom. Self-integrity, right? Meaning doing what you say you're going to do. That leads to self-confidence, right? So let me give you an example. Today I was at the gym. I did leg day. Leg day, if you guys don't know, you guys don't work out yet. It's when you work out your legs. You do like squats, deadlifts, all these things, right? It was very sore. But at the end of it, I had this idea. Hey, I'm going to run on the treadmill. And I don't know why I decided to do that, but I was just in a mood of just doing something kind of hard and difficult. Out of my comfort zone, which will lead to number 3, which will lead to the third thing. But I'll just put that out there. I decided I was going to run on the treadmill. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to run a mile. Because my legs are really sore and I just want to push my boundaries and see what'll happen if I run a mile. And I was really dreading it. I was like, oh my God, I do not want to do this. But I said I was going to do it. So I'm going to run a mile. And as I started running my mile, I decided this isn't hard enough. After leg day, I'm going to run a mile, and then, you know what? I'm going to run 2 miles because I said I was going to run 1 mile. I know I can do that easily, but 2 miles is kind of pushing it. But I'm going to set that goal for myself, and I'm going to do it. So I set that goal for myself, and after the first mile, I was dying because I had worked my legs super hard. Like I was doing like maxing out my squats, and I was doing, leg curls, all these things. I was like really, really sore in my legs. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it because I said I was going to do it. So I was like a mile in, I was dying, like really sore, and I was like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? And I just kept running, and I just kept running. And the only reason I did it was because I said I was gonna do it. All right. And that is so freaking key. That when you say you're gonna do something, that you complete it. So after, I got to like 1.5 miles and I was like so ready to quit, but I told myself I was gonna do it. So I just kept running and kept running and kept running. And I just disconnected from my feelings at that moment. And I just got to the end. I got to my 2 miles and it was done. And at the end of that, I felt so much self-confidence. Like I felt so much like self-love because I had done what I needed to do to, to accomplish the thing that I said I was going to do. And that also goes along with discipline. So integrity is really very connected to discipline, which is discipline is when you do what you need to do regardless of how you feel, right? So I didn't really feel like doing 2 miles of running after doing my leg day, but I said I was going to do it. And so I needed to hold integrity with myself. I needed to do that because if you don't hold integrity with yourself, you lose confidence. You lose self-confidence, right? And and I want to explain this. Why do you need confidence? Well, let me just tell you, if you're a guy, confidence is the thing that helps you to get girls. It's the thing that helps you to build your career. It's the thing that allows you to push through your boundaries to become more healthy and fit. It helps you to be, just more like make friends, to be more personable with others. So confidence is important, and self-confidence comes from holding integrity with yourself. So another thing, when I went to Japan, I was hanging out with Brandon and the other guys there, right? Brandon, Angelo, Alan, and me. And we said we're going to do 500 push-ups, right? And once we made that decision, that was it. We had to do it because you have to have integrity with yourself. Now, I will say, don't do things or don't agree to doing things that you don't really want to do or you can't commit to. With the 500 push-up things, looking back, I don't think I should have committed to it because it really destroyed my body for a couple of weeks and it was not very productive actually. So that's an important thing to think about. In terms of integrity, you don't want to make agreements that you know you can't keep. You only agree to things that you can keep. Because let's say you agree to something outrageous, right? Like you agree to, I don't know, doing your friend's homework for the next week or something. I don't know, something stupid. Or maybe you agree to giving your mom, $500. I don't know why this is coming up. If you make an outrageous agreement that you can't keep, or even just you agree to meet your friend, but they live very far away and you don't want to go there, you can't keep that agreement. So do not agree to things that you can't commit to. And also don't agree to things that you don't feel in your heart that it's something good for you to do, that it's something that you want to do or that is going to be a positive benefit for you or the other person or both. Do not agree to things, right? You have to learn to say no. Because when you can learn to say no, you stop setting these things for yourself that you can't achieve, Because every time you agree to something, like let's say this, right? Let's say you have a piano lesson, but then your friend says, "Hey, you know what we should do? We should go grab lunch." And then you agree to that. One of the things is going to get lost. You're either going to miss your piano lesson or you're going to miss your lunch with your friend. And then that shows that you're out of integrity with your word. You said you were going to show up to, the piano lesson, and if you go out with your friend, you don't do it. And that's going to make them lose trust in you. But even more than that, that's going to make you lose trust in yourself because you said you were going to do something and you didn't follow through with it. All right. And so the other word for trust is confidence, self-confidence. So if you lose trust in yourself, you lose confidence, right? In Spanish, the word for trust is confianza, which is also like, it sounds like confidence, right? It also means confidence. Tienes confianza? Do you have confidence? Well, it's actually confidencia, but it's very similar in the sound of the word because it means the same thing. When you trust yourself, you have confidence in yourself. So the main point that I'm trying to make is it's important to have integrity with your word, because when you have integrity with your word, that builds your confidence. Then you become more magnetic, you become more charismatic. You might even go viral on YouTube, You might be able to be a successful YouTuber or whatever your dreams are. They become a lot more easy when you decide to have integrity. Okay, so the important thing you have to think about is doing what you said you were going to do. A good way to test this and to push yourself with this is to go to the gym and work out. It depends how old you are. If you're like, 12 or something or under, probably, maybe you won't be going to the gym yet. But if you're like 13 and above, I would say start going to the gym, because that's a good way to test your integrity and to help build self-confidence. And again, when you go to the gym, don't do anything that is out of your realm of achievement. Do things or commit to doing things that you know you will achieve. So for example, if you know that you can do 20 push-ups, commit to doing 20 push-ups. Don't commit to doing 50 if you know you can only do 20. Commit to doing 20 and accomplish those 20. And if you're really new and you never can hold integrity yourself, just commit to doing 5 and just do 5. Right? So that's the secret. The secret is to commit to things that you can commit to and then follow through. The point is to follow through. And that's what will build self-confidence, and that's what will allow you to do big things in your life. Because maybe at first it's just doing 20 push-ups, right? But then maybe later it's like you commit to, making $1,000 from your business. And then maybe you're committing to like selling 5,000 yoyos or something, You're committing to bigger and bigger things throughout your life. Eventually, maybe you're committing to having kids. That's a big commitment. That's something that you have to commit like lifelong for, right? So you just commit bigger, bigger, bigger. But that's the important part to realize is like having integrity will allow you to build confidence, because each time you say you're going to do something and you accomplish it, that builds your confidence, and then it allows you to do bigger and bigger and bigger things. So that's integrity. And then the last thing that I want to mention today, there's so many values that I think are important, but another one that I think is extremely important that I've found very valuable in my life is courage. And so what I'll say about courage is willingness to go outside of your comfort zone. Okay? That's what courage is. So I'm gonna draw something so that you guys can get a sense of what I mean by this. All right? So let's say this is you. Oh wait, that's a big body. It's hard to draw because I'm using my mouse. All right, let's say this is you, all right? This is your comfort zone. All right, let's just right, comfort zone. Okay? So, see, the thing is, some of the things that you want are within your comfort zone, right? But those things are things that you've already experienced, right? So maybe some of you guys might have, you know, gone on a date, maybe if you're old enough, or maybe, you've got something that you wanted, you know, maybe it was like you got a good grade on your test, right? You got like an A or something, right? But the thing is that all the things that you want that are like your big goals in life, they're all going to be outside of your comfort zone, right? Some of them are going to be really far out, like this. So the stars, they represent goals, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So here's the thing. When you go out towards your comfort zone, you're gonna feel fear. Fear. I don't know why I wrote that like that, but you're gonna feel fear, right? But you've gotta just push past that, okay? Because your goals are here. So you want to go towards this star right here, right? But now, as you get to the edge of your comfort zone, let's say, this is like talking to a cute girl or something. Let's write that in. Or dating a cute girl, right? Let's say that's your thing that you're trying to do, right? So you might come up to this comfort zone wall, and now all of a sudden, you're getting stopped by this fear of rejection, right? You like want to go talk to her, but you can't, like, because you're scared. So what you have to do is you have to be willing to have the courage. You need to have the courage to go do it. This is just an example, right? There's so many different things that you could have courage for, but this is just an example. You need to have courage here. And you just got to go talk to her. This is just one example, right? But what's going to happen is if you can learn to have courage and break through the fear, have the discipline to do the thing that you need to do despite not wanting to do it, now you're actually able to talk to her, right? And what actually happens that's quite interesting is anytime you break through, let's say you have a goal here. Anytime you break through your barrier here, right? You have a barrier. Let's say this is like you want to go, work out and lift a weight that you've never done before, right? And you just go for it and you try it anyway, even though you don't think you can do it, right? So each time you go and do something that's outside of your comfort zone, that's hard, your whole zone actually gets bigger. And that's just you becoming more confident. And so when you talk to this girl, right, that was very hard, but you actually become more confident overall as a person. And what happens is you actually naturally start to attract all these other goals that were also right outside of your comfort zone. Just naturally. They just naturally kind of come to you, you know? So that's why it's important to always stretch yourself in every area. Even if it's like going on a cliff jump or something, there's discomfort there, but you just have to have courage to push through that. Like if you're at the edge of the cliff, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, like I do not want to jump. Or you look at it, maybe somebody else jumps and you're like, I could not do that. I would highly encourage you to do that. To do the thing that is difficult and scary, right? Because that's the thing that's going to allow you to get to your goals. And eventually you might even have a really big goal, like performing music in front of 80,000 people or something like that. And you just kept expanding your comfort zone to the point where now you can achieve those goals, right? So, on another note, in relation to this, I want to point out something else. So, the reason why achieving or pushing out of your comfort zone in one area will actually affect your other goals and help you to achieve your other goals is because of this matrix here. Wait, actually, I want to move it over because then you guys can see it better. Okay, so let's talk about this matrix real quick. And then after this, I'm going to go on to Twitch and I'm going to do a music stream. But I felt that this is very important because I think it might help some people. So these 4 quadrants represents the types of goals that you can have, or the different areas of your life of which you can grow. And I'd highly, highly, highly recommend that if you're really trying to grow in your life or trying to become a better person, you do these things. Or you do this. You draw this little matrix out. So there's 4 different there's 4 different areas of your life with which you can make progress in: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Okay? So the important thing to realize is that you want to set goals in each area of your life. You want to set a physical goal, you want to set a mental goal, you want to set an emotional goal and spiritual goal. So let me clarify this. So it's kind of weird to say just physical, right? So this is like health and fitness and energy. So like how much energy do you have during the day? Do you feel good? Do you feel good every day? Or do you feel a little like, kind of right? Mental, this is more like financial or career or like grades type of thing. Right? So like, are you getting straight A's? How are you doing on that front? How are you doing mentally? Are you like successful? Are you kind of falling off? Are you, like, is your brain being active? Emotional, this has to do with relationships. And it doesn't have to do just with romantic relationships, like having a girlfriend or something. It can do with, your relationships with like your mom or your family or whatever, And spiritual, this is kind of hard to explain, but what I'll say about this is it's your connection to a higher power. Okay? So, this is like goal setting 101. All right, guys, this is so important. Please, if you have any desire to be a good person, a good human in your life, please write this out in a journal. All right? Let's put this. Goal setting 101. So, you're going to have all these different goals, all right, in your life. Some of them are going to be physical, some of them are going to be mental, some of them are going to be emotional, and some of them are going to be spiritual. So let me just give you an example. I'll just write out mine for right now to kind of give you guys an example of what this could look like. So for me, also what I would suggest is if you can draw your goals, that really helps too, because it helps to be visual, right? I'm going to do a really poor drawing because I'm drawing on my computer with my mouse, and this is going to be really trash. But yeah, let's just say this is me, right? For physical, I want to be really muscular. One of my goals, here, look, I'm going to give myself a 6-pack. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. And I want to be happy and healthy. I just want to have so much energy. Look, this is me. I'm like going Super Saiyan. Look at that. Look at how powerful I am, man. So I just want to have extremely high levels of energy and be able to like not have to sleep too much. Yeah, so yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, um just write this stuff, right? So goal setting, right? Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, right? So for me, my physical goal is wait, let's write some text. I want to gain 20 20 pounds of muscle. So for me right now, I weigh 135, like between 130 and 135 pounds. So this would mean that I would want to be 155 pounds within the next year. That's kind of a lot of muscle to gain, but that's my goal, right? And then the other thing that I want, this is kind of hard because you should be doing this like on a physical drawing. You should be doing this in like a journal like this, right? And then you make the quadrants. So you'll go like and then you'll do the quadrants on a paper. It's much easier on that than like trying to draw with your mouse. But I'm just giving you guys an example, right? The other goal that I have is I want to eat, I want to make sure that I'm eating enough veggies and fruits and veggies and enough protein in my diet so that I can have lots of energy. And I think the main point of that is have the energy to work 5 to 8 hours a day on music. That's like my biggest thing. If I can have the energy to do that, because some days I just don't have enough energy to do that. I'll just get too tired and the music will stop sounding good, right? So this is the other goal that I have with physical fitness energy. Have the energy to work 5 to 8 hours a day on music. So what does that mean? That means I have to start eating healthy. I have to take my supplements. I got to do my meditations. Those are all helping to give me more energy in my day to day. But I will say, meditation is more spiritual. But you can see how it connects because if I do meditation, I'm less stressed, and when I'm less stressed, I'm not worrying so much, and my body has time to rest. So I'm not stressed. I can rest, and then I'll feel blessed with energy, right? So that's the key, right? That's the key is that the meditation can affect this. So what I'll also say is, look, the important thing to note, as you write out your goals, you'll start to realize if you achieve a goal in one area, it'll affect the other areas. This is why this quadrant is so important. This like little quadrant system is important, all right? Because, let me give you an example. If, let's say, I achieve these things in my health goals, right? So when I have the energy to work 5 to 8 hours a day on music, look at my career. My career is going to blow up. I'm going to be more successful, right? Steve, why are you putting a shit emoji? That's disrespectful, my friend. Anyways. So look, the point that I was trying to make is this. Whenever you achieve a goal in one of the areas, it'll affect all of the other areas, right? So look, if I have more energy now because I did the things that I need to do to gain more energy, now it'll help me to achieve my financial goals, right? The other thing that I'll do is it'll give me more time to spend with my friends and my family and, potential relationships. And if I gain 20 pounds of muscle, that'll help me to attract a more beautiful girl, right? Like it'll help me to attract the girl that I want to attract in my life to be my life partner, right? And if I have more energy, that'll give me more of an ability to be clear-minded so I can be more spiritual and gain insights. I'll tell you guys something. After the national yo-yo contest, I came back and I was super sick. I just felt sick because my immune system was trash. I wasn't eating good. I wasn't sleeping good. And I was trying to do my meditations and I just couldn't because I just didn't have the mental fortitude to be able to do that. I was like literally, I was just dying. I was dying inside, right? So it was really sad because since I didn't have enough energy, I couldn't even do my spiritual practices properly, like my meditations. Like I would sit there and try to do them, but it was just not really that helpful, right? So here's what I'll say. All right. So everything affects every other quadrant. So let me all right. So like let me give you another example. Let's say okay, my financial goal is I want to have 5 million streams on Spotify for my music. Right? This is my one of my mental goals. All right? And what will that give me? That'll help me to make more money. That'll help me to oh my gosh. So hard to draw. That'll help me to make more money. All right? So, let's just say this is a fat stack. So 5 million streams on Spotify. The amount of revenue that I'll make is probably close to like wait, hold on, let me draw on these little lines. The amount of revenue that I'll make off of 5 million streams is probably around like $20,000. $20,000 a month. Oh yeah, a month. Right? So this is one of my goals. Like obviously, you know, I'm not nowhere near that right now. But that's one of my goals and that's one of the things that I'm working towards, right? So now if I accomplish this, look how this can affect everything else, right? Like when you have money, my mom would always tell me this. This is so important, guys. And actually, this is a really important bullet point that I hope you guys take with you. That money, it gives you options, right? You know how in the Bible, there's people that interpret this one verse in the Bible that says, money is the root of all evil. That's not true. First of all, that Bible verse is misinterpreted. It actually, the real meaning of it is closer to covetousness is the root of all evil, which is basically like avarice or holding on to things, being like holding things tightly. So holding money tightly is the root of evil, yes. But money is not the root of all evil. Money simply gives you options. Now, if you're a bad person and you have money, that will allow you to be more of a bad person. It gives you more options to be a bad person with, right? But if you're a good person and you have money, now you have the options to do anything you want with it. So this money is very versatile, right? So look at this, watch. If I have $20,000 a month, all of a sudden I can hire a personal trainer. I can hire the best personal trainer to help me with my fitness goals, right? I can even, hire somebody to be like a health coach. But I can also buy supplements. I can also buy organic food, which is cost more money. I have more options to buy things, right? To help me to be more successful with my fitness. Obviously, if I have money, I'm not saying that you're going to want to find a girl who, likes you for your money, but that does play an impact or a role. Like if you want to be that type of person that is able to be the provider. If you want to be like a man, let's say, that is, like being a positive, like providing positive value in a relationship financially, then this can be helpful for you to have that relationship. Don't find a gold digger, but I'm just saying you might find somebody that you want to be supportive of, or you want to give them gifts or things like that, or you want to be financially like responsible for things. Like you go to dinner and you pay for dinner, for example. Or if you're with your friends, you go out and you can pay for dinner. Or if you're going out with your friends, you might want to hang out with people that do higher class things, right? So when you have money, you can find like you just there's so many options. Remember, guys, money equals options. Money gives you options, right? That's all money is. All money does is it just gives you options. Now, what I'll say is if you're maybe not old enough to start making money yet, even getting good grades, like that can affect you in so many other areas. Like maybe your parents are happy. Maybe that'll affect your relationships, right? If you get good grades, maybe your parents will give you more time to go out and like play sports, something like that, right? So the point is, like I said, each quadrant affects each other quadrant, right? That's the point that I'm trying to make and trying to nail home. So you got to do this goal setting thing, right? So I'm just going to finish this up. So with the relationships, this one's a little like personal and like embarrassing. So maybe I won't get like super detailed with it. But I want to have in terms of romantic relationships, beautiful girlfriend who is loving and supportive and likes to travel the world of my goals. There's a bunch of other things, but let's just keep this for now, right? So that's one thing. There's other things. There's other things with with my brother and my mom. I want to build my relationship with them. I want to support my mom in paying for the mortgage of her house, things like that. But the main thing for right now for relationships, emotional, is I want to have a girlfriend who's great. That's one of my goals. And then the other one is just to have like loving friendships and keep building my friendships. So that keep building friendships that support each other in achieving goals and also are non-judgmental, and we can have deep conversations. All right, so this is just an example of things that I want with my relationship. So I'll draw that. All right, like I said again, guys, the more you can draw it, the better it is. Obviously, again, this is going to be trash because I'm not drawing it with a pencil. I'm drawing it with, a mouse. But I'll try my best. All right, look at this. Look how cute this is. How do I want her to have a dress. All right, that's like pretty trash, but you guys get the point, right? This is like what I want for my relationship. All right. So that's one, and then friends, you can just draw it all out, but I just don't want to, I'm too lazy right now because obviously it's hard to draw right now. But so like I said, how can this affect everything else, right? Maybe if you have, this relationship with the girl, maybe it'll motivate you to do this more. Now, if she's a good person who who wants you to succeed. Another example is maybe your friendships that are helping you with your growth. Maybe you go to the gym with them, right? Maybe they help you in your business. Maybe your wife is supportive and gives you some spiritual energy, right? See what I'm saying? So it all connects. Even here, if you have more money, you can travel to Costa Rica and go to a meditation retreat, right? It's kind of, a lot of spiritual people like to say, oh, money is, not very good for helping grow yourself spiritually. But like I said, money gives you options, right? So that's all it is. You can use that for spiritual reasons. You can learn how to do meditation at a spiritual center. There's all these different things. You could travel to India. You can learn from the gurus in India, things like that. Okay. Spiritually, for me, I just want to grow my connection to God / the universe. I like to say the universe because there's different perceptions of God. There's like the biblical God. There's the God from the Old Testament who's quite ruthless and mean. He's a man in the sky that punishes people for doing bad things. And then there's the God in the New Testament who's kind of like nicer and still like a guy that judges people, but he's like a lot kinder on people. And then, there's all these different types of gods, but I think the God that for me that I believe in is a God that is the consciousness that is running the whole world and allowing everything to be in harmony and in sync, and that allows everything to exist and for us to experience things and for us to be blessed in our lives. So I want to keep growing this connection with God and understand my own personal power. In the Bible, they talk about how we were born in the image of God. We were born in the image and likeness of God, which means that we have this, like, the same capability that God does in terms of being able to create and being able to realize things. So what this looks like for me in terms of action is like doing my daily meditation for 30 minutes. All right. So if I can stay on a streak of doing that, let's say I go on like a 90-day streak, that's a really good streak, right? I'm on another streak right now. I'm on like a 56-day streak of something else that is also very helpful. Those who know will know. But yeah, this is the main thing, right? So I could draw this out, but I just think it's a little bit convoluted. So yeah, I'm not going to draw it out right now. But what this also, oh wait, you guys can't see that. What this also leads to is self-actualization, right? And so let me give you an example of how this affects the other things. When I'm connected to a higher power, there's things that just will happen that you can't even explain, and they'll start to lead you to this direction, right? So for example, I just randomly found this guy that I followed on Instagram from a really long time ago. It turns out he was a drummer. And I was like, wait, this is really random. I've never seen him pop up in my feed before, but now that I'm focused on music again, I kind of like switched over to my focus from yo-yo to music. Now all of a sudden he's popping up on my feed. So I messaged him and now we're playing in a band together, right? But that kind of felt a little spiritual. It didn't really feel, it felt like God had placed this guy into my life. He placed this guy in front of me, and then I could connect with him and then start my band, right? So not saying that that'll always happen, but when you have a connection to your spiritual side, you allow for things like that to happen. That being, like I said, meditation, it helps you with your energy. It'll probably help you with your willpower when you do your meditation, right? And that will help you to gain more muscle to go to the gym. Of course, like when you're in a better mood, you're doing your daily meditations, you feel connected, it'll be easier to have this relationship. It'll be easier to have friendly relationship with your other friends, right? Let's say this is like Brandon or something. And then like Angelo, right? With the dreads. This is trash. But you guys see what I'm saying, right? Like, this is so important. You guys have to set your goals in these 4 quadrants. And when you can do that, that'll allow you to succeed in all areas of your life. Okay? So make sure you guys do this and get clear on what you want that to look like, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I'm pretty much done today, but yeah, just make sure this will help you to succeed in your life. So make sure you guys do this. Um, if you want to succeed in your life, some of you guys maybe don't, but the ones that do want, like, will gain some value from this. I really, I hope that you guys really do this, because it has made a very massive positive effect in my life, and I hope that it'll help make a positive effect on your life. So let me explain something real quick. So for fitness, I don't know why I just wanted to say this. For me, I want to gain muscle because I'm very skinny, right? I've always had a good diet, all these things. I never overate or anything. But for a lot of you, you might want to lose weight. So maybe instead of gain 20 pounds, you might want to lose 20 pounds, right? So for everybody, it's different. For mental, like I said, maybe your mental goal is not like money at the moment. Maybe it's just to get into a good college or something, right? But you guys want to make sure you set these goals for yourself. And like I said, if you can achieve goals in any area, they will impact the other areas. So that's why it's important to make these quadrants, because you can be aware of when you're focusing on the wrong things. And the other thing is, like, let's say you are focusing all your energy in this, but then you're neglecting this, right? You have no energy, right? So maybe you're trying to do 5 hours of music a day or practice whatever, whatever you're doing, do your homework or whatever, but you don't have any energy. Well, that's going to screw you up. So it helps you to become aware of the things that you're neglecting. So, like, let's say that, you want a relationship, but you are not, like, taking care of your body, and then you're not attractive. So obviously nobody's going to want you, right? I mean, maybe there's somebody, but it's not the person that you want, right? Or with your friendships, maybe you're always the person begging for handouts because you can't pay for things. Or, I'm just trying to point out that when you write this thing out, it'll be clear the things that you're neglecting. And when you get clear on that, you can realize that if you can fix that thing, or like go after that thing, that goal, then that'll impact the other things, and that'll make a positive impact in the rest of your life. So that's why it's important to think about these things. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much the main thing that I wanted to say. Slat Sir asked, would I rather be skinny or overweight? Rather be skinny, probably. Yeah. Being good looking can be good for confidence when you're competing with other people. Yes, very true. Very true. There's so many ways in which one area of your life, if you can, like, grow that area, it'll affect the other things. Actually, I found that this area is the most important to focus on. If you just do your daily meditation or your daily prayer, whichever, whatever way you connect with the universe or God, or, even if you're an atheist, if you just spend some time a day on mindfulness and becoming aware, that will be greatly impactful for everything else. So that's my take on this, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna be heading over to Twitch now. So yeah, guys, go check me out on Twitch. I'm gonna be just doing like a music stream, chill music stream. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Should I play an outro? Nah, I'm not gonna play an outro. So yeah, hopefully this helped, guys. All right, love you guys. Bye.